Welcome back, episode 13 with Mr. Austin Gaule.
Hi, hello.
Tell everybody who you are, if you could.
Yeah, sure. Austin Gaule, and I book and promote shows here in town in Omaha, Nebraska. And yeah, here I am.
And if you can see his shirt, he is representing Emo Night. He has a big say in the Omaha branch. If you can.
Yeah, we do. So, yeah, I do work for Emo Night, and yeah, we're a flagship Midwest markets here in Omaha. So we spend a lot of time here, and we spend a lot of time around the Midwest too. So we're in like 9 different markets across the Midwest. So large chunk of the stuff that I do and promote is Emo Night based all across the Midwest. So
can you, I guess, tell us how you got started in Emo Night, or who reached out to you specifically, and how this all, I guess, began?
Yeah. So man, I don't know. It's such a long time ago. It was like 4 years ago now. So it's kind of like muddy in my memory. But I remember we went to an Emo Night down the first time they ever came to town. I think it was called Taking Back Tuesday. Oh my God, excuse me, this beer's getting me. Yeah,
Let it out.
I'm gonna let it go then. Oh man. So yeah, they came down and did a show at the Slowdown the first time they were ever in town, and at that time it wasn't like a huge thing across like the entire like states. They were doing it in some other places, but like they came to town and there was not a whole bunch of people there, and they had the entire Slowdown open for it. And I thought it was really weird. I mean, it's like a 700 person like room, like it's fucking massive. So I think the vibe was a little weird, and they didn't. I don't think they really wanted to come back to town because I think they thought it was so weird. But we had a friend, Carly and Contro. She's kind of like she lives out in LA. She's like she's in Vlog Squad with like that David Dobrik dude. They're good for her, man. She's killing it out there. I still talk to her from time to time. She's nice girl. But she moved out there and is really good friends with Aaron, who is TJ, one of the founders, is like his fiance. So like I hit her up. I was like, yo, if they ever want to come back into town, like let me know, like pass them my info. And I think she did. And I eventually got an email from them. I was like, yo, we should do this in town again. We should move it to another venue. I'd be happy to like book and promote it. And so like we did that, and everything went great the first time they came around. Me and my friends clicked with Babs and TJ. They're the ones who came out and did the show, so we clicked with them pretty hard. We had some good discussions, had a bunch of beer. It was a really good night. I think we had Dallas from Despracitos out that night too. And you know Despracitos are It's Bright Eyes, Connor Oberst, like it's his like side project, I think, right? Is that right? Yeah,
it's
something
Saddle
like,
Creek.
yeah, something like that. So
So
that was out. It was a great show. So it went really well. And when they were leaving, they were like, "Hey, we should talk about doing this again." They sent over like an email the next day. They're like, "Hey, we want you to run it. We really liked your friends. Would you want to do this in Omaha?" We're like, "Yeah, sure, let's do it." So we took it over from there, and have been doing it ever since in Omaha. And as the Omaha shows progressively got more bigger, I think we did like 2 shows at the waiting room without like having any like special guests or like really anything. Like
they still sell great.
Yeah, still like not having really anything behind it. We decided like, hey, let's really give this a run. Like let's try this. We started bringing in guests and like started upping our production a little bit, and like, you know, like having surprises at the shows, like having like, you know, a hot dog truck outside, you know, shit like that. Like small little things really like added up over time, and like the Omaha market just kind of like exploded. It was really fun. It was fun. It's been fun to watch. It's been fun to be a part of. And yeah, so ever since then we've kind of just been doing it in Omaha. We've been doing it everywhere. I don't know if I can name all the cities we do, but we do.
Milwaukee's one.
Yeah, we do Omaha, Milwaukee. We're picking up Minneapolis here in a I think the first show's at the end of January. Party, I'm sorry, not show, it's a party. And then, Iowa City, we're picking up that market, and Sioux Falls, and Des Moines, and Kansas City, Lawrence, St. Louis. I think that's it.
Damn.
I think that should be it.
So, are you the one who's responsible for picking the venue, being that you have, I guess, taken over the Midwest market for Emo Night?
Yeah, so it's kind of like a twofold process. I kind of act as like, I don't know. I book and promote the shows myself, and since we kind of DJ the parties, loosely use the term DJ because we're not DJs, we just press play on like Spotify. Right. So it's pretty easy to like do. You just have to like have a sense of kind of like what the industry looks like, like where would a party like that look good, can we get a good deal, to like get into the venue and like not spend like an arm and a leg like on stuff like that. And since I've been booking and promoting shows like all across the Midwest for the better part of 5 to 10 years, I guess 5 is probably like a better way to put it, because I really have only been booking outside of Omaha for probably like 3 or 4 years. So, I mean, like I've had connections at a lot of these places. I know a lot of people that work at these venues, so it's really easy for me to email them and be like, hey, like we want to bring this. Like, what do you think? And most of the people I talk to are always just like, yeah, let's do this. This looks awesome. Bring it in. So it's just been like a huge growing process, like from Omaha out. It's been fun.
So when you're scouting out these venues, do you have somebody, I guess, in that market look for you, or do you go there, kind of scout it out? And
yeah, I mean, a lot of I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of places that we are in already I've frequented for years. So I mean, it's like the Waiting Room, like I knew that place, obviously it's our home market here. Woolies in Des Moines, like I've known that place for a really long time. I have a couple friends that work there. The people at the Waiting Room actually hooked me up with Woolies to get in there. So it's just like once you hit one and like somebody sees like how good it can be for their business bar wise, right. It's like, oh my god, okay, like let's do this. So
what's the cap at the Waiting Room? Just so
I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about it, but officially it's probably like 500 or something.
Okay,
like I don't know, it's somewhere around there. So yeah, it's a huge spot too. And we add Reverb Lounge into it, so it's a lot of fun. It's cool. It's a really cool vibe. We get to open up that hallway, like in between, and we have like live bands going on in between, like the DJ party and like that. So it's cool. It's really fun.
So originally it started out as just playing music on Spotify, and then how do you incorporate, I guess, your special guests? Who was the first person I guess you reached out to?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean it's just a big like playlist party, so trying to add more things into the night. I was like, I saw everybody else that was doing emo nights and like in the Emo Night LA collective, that I saw them bringing out people. I was like, yo, I want to do this too. Like, who can I hit up to like bring out? And I think our first one was Craig Owens from Chiodos. He was really fun. He's a good guy too. He's become a friend. So it's kind of like, that's like the other side of like doing all this stuff is like
you get to meet them.
Yeah, getting to connect and like be friends. Like I've made friends with so many of my former like teenage idols. Like it's just crazy. Like I'll like wake up and like be talking to like someone that I like idolized like 15 years ago. I still do. It's not like that's ever gone away. It's just
hey,
like
Craig,
it changes.
How's your morning going?
Yeah, I think it changes as you get older. It's like it's just a little bit less. I guess I get a little less like fanboy,
right?
Like I learn to contain myself and like be like, oh, they're just people too. Because a lot of those dudes that like come out and do our stuff are just like really happy to be like out and like shaking hands and like partying and like having a good time, so it's not like they're forcing themselves to do it. It's like they enjoy doing it. So it's really fun having them out. Like I said, I've met like a ton of really cool people from doing it. And yeah, I think Craig was our first one in Omaha, and he was a lot of fun.
So on the backside of things, I guess the behind the scenes, how do you go about saying, hey, Craig, how do we get you to Omaha? Are you I don't mean to like...
No, it's okay. Yeah, I mean, pretty loosely, it's just like, hey, you make connections over time and you leverage those connections and you just kind of like put the pieces together, It's a pretty... I mean, it helps that we have like a huge team in LA behind that like really pushes everything, and I feel like I barely do any of like the work marketing wise or anything like that. My job is just to kind of show up and like run the party, which is fun.
Right.
So yeah, but I mean, most of the time you just leverage, older relationships, with agents and stuff like that. It's pretty cool thing to do.
At least you don't have to clean up the party.
Yeah, fuck that, dude. No way. I'm to clean up one of our... Dude, honestly, it's so gross, man. Like I've seen so much gross. Not like over the line gross, just like a lot of like... I mean, like every metal show you leave ends up smelling like shit. Like it's just like, holy shit, people need to put on some like body odor. Like I think in general, like the scene needs to learn to like put on like anti-perspirant. Right, yeah, dude. I mean other than that, it's just beer bottles and shit. It's just I don't want to fucking spend my time doing that. So no.
That's the worst thing. Like when I used to throw house parties, I know it's on a different completely different like level, but cleaning up after house parties, you had 30 people. It's like, we invited you over.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
we provided you beer.
First off, I would never have a house party. The most house party thing that we do is have South Park Wednesdays. We'll all get together, like the crew will get together at like my house and we'll watch South Park all together. Other than that, stay the fuck out of my house. Like, don't come in. Like, I don't want, like, let's meet for a beer or something. I work from home, so it's like I don't want to like be at home ever. So during the day I'm there, like, literally from the time I go to bed till the time I'm off work the next day, I'm like at home. So it's kind of a pain in the ass.
See, I used to be the opposite. I used to be like, hey, everybody come over.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Forrest about this last week. It's like, we've lost that. Nobody ever wants to just come over and hang out anymore.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. For me, my free time is like really valuable to me. And I really enjoy my space, so it's hard for me to want to like invite a bunch of people over like all the time. Like when I was a kid in college, like, yeah, hell yeah, come over, let's have let's drink until 2 a.m. But now that I'm grown up and like have a bunch of stuff going on, like I hate like I'll invite like a few people over, like like one-on-one time, come over and like hang out, like play a video game or something. But I guess that means I'm getting old. I don't know.
All right, if you were to open up your phone and out of your fanboy group, so you had like Craig Owens, so let's just say like Levi Benton. Let's just say a whole bunch of names. Yeah. Who would you hit up that just like come over for a casual night?
Oh man, dude, probably Shane Told from Silverstein. I love him.
What's his name from Academy?
Yeah, William Beckett's probably. It's either between Shane or William. Like both of those dudes have become pretty good friends of mine. And they're really, really sweet dudes. William is probably the nicest, funniest dude I've ever met in my entire life. So I would love to have a night with him. I don't think he drinks. It doesn't matter.
Right.
But I think he would be really... Yeah, he would play the guitar. Like, I think he's a theater major, too. So I think, like, he's just the most entertaining, funniest, sweetest, nicest guy ever. It's really... It's always fun hanging out with him. So, and Shane likes to party, too. So, so I always have a good time with him. He's also hilarious. So
the first time I ever fangirled over somebody was Telly Smith from The Word Alive.
Yeah.
So I went to go see a show there at Sokol, and that's when Luke Holland actually started
playing
in the
drumming
band.
For them. Yeah.
So I was like, all eyes on Luke. And then I'm over by the merch tables, and Telly is walking from the stage to the merch tables, and I pass him.
Thank you.
And I turn around and I go, holy
shit. Oh my God.
Holy shit, that's Telly. So I ended up getting a picture with Telly, and then I sent a picture to my friend Jeff, and I'm like, look who I just fucking met.
Dude, yeah, man. I mean, it's when I was a kid, like Sokol Underground's like that spot where I think everybody has like their fanboy moments. Like when I was, like I've been going there since I was like 14 years old. So like I've seen some of like my favorite bands there, and like you're right, dude. Like the thing about Sokol is you can't get to backstage without going through front of house. Like there's no way to do it. There's no like back stairwell. So like forcibly you either have to stay in the green room until your set is over, from the time the doors are open until your set is over. In that green room, have you ever been in that green room? It's a plywood box. It is terrible. It is so bad. So like yeah, like I would always see like my favorite artist just like walking around the crowd at Sokol. I'd be like, oh my God, like that's why I love that place. That place has always been really cool. But yeah, I mean, I've had a ton of moments like that with like you had with Telly, like just purely at Sokol Underground.
Well, even with the Casey Strain, they just came a couple weeks ago and they're playing at the Reverb, and we kind of talked about this because that's officially when we introduced or got introduced to each other. So when I met Vince from Casey Strain, isn't that his name?
Yeah, Vincent.
Yeah, I met him, and I didn't nerd out or anything. I'm just like, let's have a grown-up conversation.
Yeah, he's a good dude, too. He's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
He's really down-to-earth, good guy. I booked them a ton of times. Like, yeah, shout out Casey Strain. Those guys are awesome. They killed Reverb the other night. I thought that show was really cool. But yeah, they've been around for a long time. Vincent, I think, is like the flagship member of that group, obviously.
He's 76 years old.
Yeah, dude. He's an old guy, but he still kills it. And I think, like, I was always really intimidated by him when I was a kid, but like progressively as I've gotten older, I've realized that he is just like the sweetest, funniest, probably the funniest dude in metal. Like he is hilarious.
Even on stage, he was talking about Primitive Rage. And these guys have the best hair and the best hair here.
And what I really appreciate about Vincent is that he's really into keeping up with what's going on across like the United States. They tour a ton. So, like, they play with a bunch of different bands all the time. And the fact that they remember Primitive Rage from Springfield and they remember Death Wish from Omaha is pretty fucking crazy to me. That's that to me is why like the KSU strain's still around, dude. Like they still put out, well, not only that, but they put out like consistently good records like all throughout like their career. So it's been, it's fun to watch bands like that pop off and knowing that they're good people too. Like Devin Shittaker in that band's a really good guy too. Like he used to play in Oceano. He's been around for a long time too.
I was speaking about Oceano today, actually.
Yeah, I remember one of the first shows I ever booked was with Oceano way back when. They played right when they released Depths. They played Tio Garcia's in Papillion. That was like the first venue. You probably even know that place, right? Yeah, it was right next to Papio Foam Park and right next to the Papio pool.
Yeah,
like right there. Do you know where the Rock was?
No, but I know where the bowling alley is.
Yeah, it's connected on there. So like when I was in high school, it was like when I first started booking shows, I booked at this place. It was connected onto the bowling alley. It was called Tio Garcia's, and it was literally just like it was a bar that had like a stage, and then it had like this big event hall in the back that was just like it was like essentially like somewhere like if you wanted to like have like your wedding reception, that's where it's just a big ass open room, no stage, no nothing, no sound system, nothing. So I remember I went in there one day. I was like, yo, I'd love to like book some shows here. And like the dude was like, yeah, so we've got 2 rooms. And I was like, this room in here is cool. You got a cool stage, you got really cool sound system. I was like, what's it running here? He's like, oh, it's about $1,500 a night. I was like, whew.
For a bar?
Yeah, for that. Well, it was a pretty cool spot, honestly. They had food, like it was pretty.
1,500.
I eventually got the price down, but like, and then he showed me into like the back hall, like, and I was working with my friend Justin at this time. I was working under him, Justin Tweedy. He used to play in Beleth for a short period of time and then moved on. But he booked shows for a while too. But he like took me under his arm. He's like, "Hey, I'm moving to Kansas City. I need you to kind of like be with me and be like my second man." I was like, "Okay, great." So like we went there and like he showed us this event hall like in the back, and I was just like, "This is it. Like this is where we're gonna book all of our fucking shows. Like I don't know how we're gonna do it, but I'm booking them in here." So like we started. He agreed to rent it to us for free as long as we brought in like our own equipment and we brought him bar sales. That second room was always free. He never charged us anything.
Sick, dude.
We brought some cool stuff in there too. We brought like I remember this one time we booked For Today's CD release tour when they put out like that first record with. Do you ever listen to For Today?
Yeah, like
Ecclesia. Yeah, Ecclesia. Right when they put out that record,
ooh,
they went on like a record release tour and it was crazy. I think there's still videos of it online. Kyle Benecki, if you've ever watched his videos, he's got a channel. And he used to shoot all of those shows up.
Black and white?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did he do a Superior one?
Yeah. Most of those were done at the Commons, though.
Yeah.
We can get into that in a little bit. That's a different... There's like 4 stages of what I've done in my life, like booking-wise. Like it was Tio Garcia's, Sokol, the Commons, and now like this Emo Night thing, so like, but yeah, we had like For Today, like Recon, A Plea for Purging played that show. Number 12 Looks Like You. We had them in there with Our Last Night. A bunch of bands that are like literally fucking massive right now. Like any band that you probably have seen in the past 10 years, either cycled through the Commons or Tio Garcia's. Like I remember that we had the Number 12 Looks Like You do like a headliner in that room once. I don't know if you know who that band is, but they were like this old, like really grindy, like math rock, like mathcore band. Really fucking cool band. They just made a comeback too, but like they would always take younger bands out that were
sick,
like just coming up. So they would have people at their shows because nobody really
knew who they were.
Yeah, nobody really cared about Number 12 after like their second record. So like I remember this one time they brought out We Came as Romans, Our Last Night, I See Stars.
No big deal.
Yeah, like just like, and like I think there was one other, I can't remember who the other band was, but it was just like all 3 of those bands like are massive. Fucking huge. Yeah. So and like they were all young, and like I remember there was like, I think at that show there's like maybe like 120 people there. Like it was small. It was insane. It's crazy. Some of the craziest shows I've ever booked have been in that room. But yeah, I mean, like that place was really, really cool, but it ended really quick. Like as soon as we were in there, I think we were in there probably for like a summer and like maybe some of the winter. And like, I think I did one show in that big room that actually had the stage, and it's actually on film. Like there was this big brawl that happened. I think it was The World We Knew and I Declare War came in for a show. And it was
to be expected,
dude. And that back in that day, like the scene was really like divided. So like if 2 like groups of people that like showed up at the same show or playing the same
like
show.
Casey Strain and Amir fans.
Sure, yeah, you could put it like that. I mean, it was
More
just
like old people.
yeah,
Oh,
old people
gotcha.
versus like younger people, and like it always just got super heated. And I remember at that show, like stuff just boiled over. I think it was like Bellevue kids versus like everybody else, like essentially what it was. And like my friend Mike Foran like beat the shit out of Jake Yeager, and two names that I still love. I love both of those guys still. I don't talk to either of them. I remember the night very vividly. There's a
Shout
big,
out.
yeah, shout out, big brawl that night, and that's what ended it there, dude. Like I remember we walked out that night. I think the cops got called, and, like everybody left, and then like after the show was over, the dude came up. He's like, "Yeah, we can't do this anymore." I was like, "Fuck, damn it, okay, fine." I was like, walked outside. I was like, "Well, you ruined it, everybody. Thanks a lot."
So is that how you started switching venues? How you got
Yeah,
into
so I mean, I diversified. I mean, I think I was a senior in high school at that point, and I was done. I was done with it at that point. I was like, this is exhausting. Like I was losing money on shows. Like I was a senior in high school. I had no money at all. My parents paid like my car insurance, my like pretty much everything at that point. Like, so I didn't really have a bunch of disposable cash, but I would save up my money. And I hope my mom doesn't listen to this, but I would save up my money, and I would like, save my income to cover losses on shows that I would have, because I know they were coming. I would book bands for like $500 and like 20 people would show up, and I'd be out like $300.
Yeah.
So it was hard to be like mad at myself, because I knew what I was getting myself into. But I was like, this is going to pay off later. Just take the bullet. Like, it'd be fine. So by that time, like at Tio Garcia's, I was really done, because I was working with Justin, and he burnt out and left me with like a bunch of debt. I still hate you for that, Justin. If I highly doubt he'll listen to this, but fuck him for that. He left me with like probably like $400 or $500 in debt, and at that time, like I had no cash at all. That was a ton of money, and like I had agents calling me like every other day for like $175 cancellation fee or something. So I like distanced myself for like a year. I finished high school. I got, I was like, I joined Superior. Like we started Superior. Like I was like, I got bored after a while, because I was like, I was booking shows all the time when I was like in high school, and then like all of a sudden it just like cut off. I was like, okay, well I have to stay active in the music scene somehow, and like I never played an instrument. I didn't want to book shows anymore, because there weren't like any venues that I really wanted to work with, and I was like tired of losing money. So we started Superior, and like I had no idea what I was doing. Like I was not a vocalist or anything. So like I kind of forced my way into being a part of Superior.
Did you play bass?
No, we were dual vocals for the first show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're dual vocals for like the first show we had. Me and James did them, and then I got us like obviously like I got us like our first show like with Icy Stars, Of Mice and Men, Broadway. And there was another band on. We Came as Romans played that show too.
Damn.
Yeah, it sucked, because like I got us that show, we played it, and everybody said we played really well. And then like a month later, I got kicked out of the band, which was fine, because at the time I was pretty pissed, because I was like really like angsty like freshman in college, and I was like mad. I didn't have anything to do. I was just like, fuck, I spent like 6 months like writing these songs, and like now we're not doing anything, and I'm fucking kicked out with it. Like I was like, okay. I was like sitting in my dorm room. I remember specifically the day that like I was like, okay, I'm gonna start booking shows again. Like after a while, the Mosaic, we went there as kids. I never booked a show at while it was the Mosaic, but it closed down for like a year. In this, did you ever go to the Commons back in the day? Yeah, so
Definitely.
so they got new management, because the people that were inside of the building that housed the Mosaic changed ownership, I believe, or changed organizations, changed like nonprofit hands, and like a nonprofit ran that building the entire time that we were operating out of the Commons. And I remember I clicked on their their MySpace page one day, and they were doing shows again after like a year of not doing shit like ever. Some stuff, I remember Millions of Dead Cops played there like the last show they had before they shut down for a year, and like the dude was like smoking pot on stage. I was like, yeah, well, what do you fucking expect? It's Millions of Dead Cops. Like it's so like they like were like, yeah, we're not gonna do this show thing for a long time. So they finally came back, and I was just like, holy crap, like this is an opportunity. Like let me get in there and book a local show and just like pop it off one time and like show them what I can do. So like I booked this show. I think I grabbed MRSA from like Sioux City and like a bunch of Omaha local bands. I booked Superior on it, even though I had just gotten like kicked out of it. I was like, "You guys want to play? Let's get it." Let's go.
Superior used to run the shit around here.
They used to be
for
sure.
the band.
Yeah. They were. I mean, they were the band. Still, I mean, like, still some of my best friends. Like, I love Matt McMillan's always been one of my best friends. Some of the best times I ever had were driving around with him in my car, like going to and from like Superior practice. So, although it didn't end well when I was a freshman in high school, I've humbly passed it. Like, and I love those times. So, but yeah, no. So they started the Commons, or yeah, at that time they started branding themselves as the Commons. So I sent them a message and booked that show, and it like popped off. There was like I think we sold it out. It was like 150 people. It was crazy.
The Commons.
Yeah, it was crazy. So they hit me up the next day, like, "Yo, this is awesome. We really like your vibe. Do you want to come in here and be like our in-house guy and like book all this stuff?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So like it was like a 2-person operation pretty much. Like I ran the door and like kind of ran like production schedules and like paid everybody out at the end of the night. And then like I had like 2 people run sound. AJ Kirshner was the first one who I had run, and God bless him at the time. I don't think he had any idea what he was doing. And he brought Tommy in with him. I remember we booked the first show we ever booked there. Like, it was Legend. It was For the Fallen Dreams vocalist Chad. He like made like his side band Legend, and like 100 people showed up. It was on like a Tuesday night. It was like crazy. Like that was yeah. Like back in the day, that was crazy. Big. Yeah, it was awesome. I'm like, now that's even on a Tuesday for a band that hadn't even put out a record. It was crazy. It was really, really fun. But like it was a nightmare of a show, dude. It was terrible.
Sound was just bad.
Oh no! I mean the sound system shut off. Yeah, I mean, like we had blown the power like in that building immediately upon having like their equipment in there. So like we had to figure that out. AJ couldn't figure it out. Tommy was like, he brought Tommy with him, and like Tommy figured it all out. So like eventually, like I was like, "Tommy, do you want a job here? Like you should come work for us." Like, so AJ did a couple shows. And I just started booking everything there. You know, AJ was doing sound, I was running doors, and we were bringing in like cool bands like all the time. You know, bands that you wouldn't expect to play that little tiny ass space.
Color Morale.
Yeah, Color Morale.
That
like,
acoustic show.
That's funny. It's funny that you say that because I actually just talked to Garrett yesterday. That's super, super funny. Yeah, I haven't heard that name in a long time. But yeah, we had Color Morale, For All Those Sleeping. I think my favorite show.
That band used to be giant.
Yeah, I mean, I remember we had right before the Ghost Inside put out Returners. They actually, the day they put out Returners, they played the Commons. It was an off date from like a Stick to Your Guns tour that they were on, and they came and played and sold it out. Fucking one of the craziest. You can find that, like, seriously, if you want to like chronicle any of this, just get on Kyle Benecki's YouTube page. It'll literally take you through.
Someone's gonna have to tag Kyle Benecki in this video.
Dude, I will. I'll send you the video link so you can like put it in the description. It's really fun to go back and watch, and it's funny too because like in those videos I can see myself growing up. Like, you know what I mean? Because like from the time that like I was doing that when I was in high school, I was like I said, 14, 15 years old. And I remember seeing myself in those videos, and then like as the years go on, I progressed. My hair got floppier. Like I got a little bit fatter. Like, it's super funny.
That's funny you bring up that the black and white videos. I can remember watching a whole bunch of Superior ones, and they're playing "Moving Forward." Yeah, one of their songs. And my brother Sebastian. Do you know Sebastian? I know Sebastian. He's in the front row, and he's he's like jumping and going.
That's us, dude. That was us back in the day, man. Unashamed. Like we had a great time. Like that place was.
I almost wish it was like back to those days because Omaha they have turned from like jumpy, like we don't have any more like genty type of bands. Yeah. We don't circle pit unless it's a giant band.
I don't think there's, dude. Honestly, if I'm being real with you, I think like Omaha lacks identity in general, like in their metal and hardcore scene for sure. Like I mean, it's really there's not a lot of people playing music. You know what I mean? Like back in the day, you could point to like 7, 8, 9, 10 people that were in bands. You know, and like constantly going out on the weekends.
Well, shit, this is something I forgot to ask for. It's like, you remember that back in the day, like, you left a band, you were in a band. You left a band, you were in a band.
Right.
And now it's like...
things. I think that naturally happens when you get a little bit older, too. You know, like, you start to value your time a little bit more, and if a project isn't taking off the way you want it to, you kind of just got to continue on with your life, you know? And I think that's where a lot of... At this age, especially the age that I think I'm in right now, like 28 years old, I think people are starting to like get away from doing that kind of stuff, you know? So it's and a lot of new kids aren't really hip to playing music for whatever reason. So I mean, that's kind of like something.
Yeah, you don't see any like really young bands anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think like the youngest band that I know of, and I don't think they're even that much younger than I am, is From This Day Forward. I think they're probably
Eddie's probably 25.
Yeah, I mean, like he's
Spencer.
like 3 years younger than me, so that's not all.
Can I get another coffee stout?
You want another? That's number 3 or number 2?
This,
2.
Shut up, man.
Judging Austin.
Yeah, you're
I'm
not.
not judging. I'm just
you're
keeping
not my
track.
dad.
I'm keeping track here, so I
Listen,
Which one?
the conversation
The
gets
coffee
better
stout.
as more goes down. To be honest,
I'm
I get.
gonna interrupt really quick. I am having some allergy issues, and as you can see, I'm starting to break out.
Oh,
in
yeah, you are.
hives. It's okay. Nothing bad. Is
Okay.
happening. I just wanted to let you know. I'm good. I have some. I just took.
We have a medical emergency in here.
I'm not gonna go into anaphylactic shock.
Thank
or
you.
I hope not.
anything.
This is my friend Jesse too. If you're wondering who's been like talking,
Yeah.
Jesse's been here throughout my entire career too. It's kind of funny.
I've known Austin since he was like 14.
Jesse took me to some of my first shows that I ever went to. Jesse took me to the first show I ever got kicked out of too. We
Probably got
were.
kicked out.
Austin Gall got kicked out of a show.
Yeah, well, when we were kids, we were pretty
Really?
unruly. No.
Terror?
No. Yeah, it was Terror at
Aileen,
Auditorium. No,
yeah.
no.
Aileen played that show.
No, they did not, honey.
They did. I
It
promise.
Acacia. No,
Fight,
after the
fight,
burial,
fight,
after
fight.
the burial opened, the Acacia Strain played, Terror played, Evergreen Terrace played, God forbid. and
After the
Hatebreed.
burial opened,
Yeah, it
This
was.
must've
It was
been
like
way back.
2006.
Was that Soul Underground?
Auditorium.
Auditorium.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
that's when Terror was like.
Evergreen. Yeah, it was when Evergreen Terrace was like at their peak, man.
you know
It
who
was
I've been
so
listening
much
to
fun.
lately? Gwen Stacy.
Dude, it's funny. I was actually.
Let me guess,
looking
you
at-
talked to one of their members.
No, I don't know
Okay.
anybody in that. I actually have a funny story about that band. I haven't listened to them in a long time, but I always really liked that band. They played God, what's that place called? The Roxbury up there. 108th and Q, yeah. That place was a fucking shit. It was like a nightclub that also like hosted shows from time to time. It was a really shitty nightclub, but like they would host shows from time to time, and their security would always be there. They'd always have like 5 security guards for a show that had like 40 people or something. And I remember Gwen Stacy played. I remember Ryan King rolled out to that show with a few people, and like we were
Long red hater.
Yeah,
big beard?
yeah, yeah.
I
Pinky
ju-
dog?
Yeah,
Dude,
King-
I just met him. Sorry to interrupt.
No, King's a good guy, man. King, I've known King since I was a kid. He went to my high school.
I just met him. So
Nice guy.
I don't know if you knew this. So this kid named James Wedmore, he hit me up and he's like, "Hey, I've got
James.
a couple bands that are in town. One of them's named Bila,
Yeah.
the band from an island called Malta, which
Yeah.
is south of Italy.
Yeah.
And then this band called Staghorn, which is from Illinois. Ryan King, I don't know if he let them stay at his house or what the deal was, but when we had the podcast and when we went to go get breakfast, he was with them.
Oh yeah.
So
Nice.
I recently just met him. So when I heard
Yeah.
the name Ryan King, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, dude. King was like my protector in high school. I was really scared of King. Like my first year of high school, and then I met him and talked to him, and then like this one time I had a problem with some kid at school, and I was like, King, will you come with me? And he was like, yeah, I got this. Ever since then, I've really loved that kid. He's always been a really cool guy. So
Shout out to Ryan King
Yeah,
if you're
shout out.
watching.
Yeah.
Man, he was so cool when I met him. I don't know how he got in touch with the people in Bila and the people in Staghorn.
yeah, Ryan's a true metalhead, man. He's really down for the cause too. He's always been super nice.
Well, then funny enough,
Dude. Dude, if there's one thing I could say about Ryan, he loves just about. Well, I wouldn't say every style of music, but I think he's got one of the widest ranges of music taste that I've ever met. I love that. Like when people can listen to like a bunch of like a different shit is really, really cool to me, and not just like be stuck to like one genre.
and not until recently did I find out like the show that Bila and Staghorn played was actually in my friend Josh Jaworski's basement.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah, I haven't been to a house show in forever. I think I'm going to. It's funny you say that. I think I'm going to a house show Monday for the
Where at?
first time. It's in Lincoln. This band Cliff Diver is playing, and they're playing at some. I don't know. It's 42069 Ask a Punk is the address that was.
Ask a Punk.
Yeah, that was the address that was listed. So I'm gonna have to figure out where it's at. I'll ask somebody, but it'll be fun. I really like Cliff Diver. Shout out Cliff Diver. I know they're not gonna watch this, but they're dude, if you ever
Don't say that. Just tag him in. The
Dude, yeah, they're from Tulsa, Oklahoma. They're really good guys. They play like pop punk with like saxophone behind it. It's like elevator music with saxophone.
Okay, that's
and more
dope.
pop. Yeah, it's fucking awesome. Super
There's a
cool.
band called let's see, Siamese. They're from Denmark, but they
Oh,
play
nice.
with the live violinist. They
Oh,
play,
sweet. It's like Yellow Card.
They play like, it's not necessarily hardcore. It's, I don't know. I'll show you. But anyhow, they have a live violinist. He plays guitar half the time, and he'll take off his guitar and play violin over breakdowns. It's dope.
Yeah, no, that sounds like some stuff that would be really popular in Asia.
Yeah,
for real.
Yeah, that's funny because some of the touring videos that I've watched are them in Asia.
Yeah, that seems like the market that would be really big in.
How about Keeper of the Morgue? You pumped about them?
Yeah, dude.
I heard you hit up Matt McClure.
Yeah. So by the time this is out, it'll probably be announced. So we're doing. It's a good transition. I like that. We're doing bar takeovers at Reverb every first or it's either the first or second Monday of each month. So we're programming some really cool shit into like everything that we do now. So like with all of those, we're going to be bringing in at least one or two different acts every time, and then supporting like a local organization or a local nonprofit.
Sick.
It's a free event, which is really, really fun. I don't nearly do enough free stuff as I should. So I'm really excited that it's free. So we did our first one the other day. I was really excited about it because I'm really passionate about politics. So we had Kara Eastman, who is running for Congress this next year against Don Bacon. She's one of two that are going to be up for grabs in the Democratic primary. It's her and Ann Ashford. So I think
ladies represent.
Yeah, ladies be getting it out here in Nebraska Democratic politics. But yeah, I was really excited about it. We came out, had her do a live Q&A. I asked her a bunch of questions along with a friend who runs a political podcast here in town. So I had him come out and help me ask questions. And it went over really well. I think we had a really good conversation. There was only like 20 or 25 people in the room. No, it's okay. I mean, it's a Monday night. Look, I mean, So when we sat down to talk about doing something free, we're like, well, what can we do? Like, because we don't want to do something free on the weekends, and like, there's a lot of money to be made on the weekends. Right. Like it's hard for me to just be like, yeah, let's just give up a weekend and do like a huge free event. So what I was thinking about the other day. And I'm not a money grubber. I want to point that out. That sounded really money grubbing. I'm not. Like I just, I have to make a living somehow. It's my job.
It's your job.
So we were talking, me and Bree, who's helping me.
Leon.
Yes, Bree De Leon. We were talking. We're like, there's just nothing to do in the city Monday through Wednesday night. Like unless there's like a big show or something, there's nothing going on. You can't ever find anything to do. And I mean, like, naturally, I think that makes people want to sit in their houses even more and just like not do anything during the winter. I find myself all the time, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, even Thursday sometimes, just like, fuck, there's nothing to do. And
you just feel like
trapped. I feel trapped.
Up.
Yeah, especially when like these daylight savings time comes along and like our days get cut a little bit shorter, and like there's not
sad
season. It's a really sad season to be alive. So we were like, let's take on the challenge. Let's do Mondays. Let's just do it. Like, let's see if we can make it happen. So like our first one was not great, but it was encouraging. And I think that's the challenge that we're really excited for, is trying to like generate something fun, unique, and innovative. So I think this first one, we also had like an hip hop artist come out after Kara was done with her Q&A, and he did a set, which I thought was really cool. If you don't really,
it's gonna be weird for a political.
No, it was great. She's awesome, dude. I mean, like she is the ideal progressive candidate for this area. Like, if you are, I don't know, like what it doesn't matter what way you lean politically, but like. She's an angel, man. She is so accepting of everything and everyone. She was like when the hip hop performer was like performing, she was down there like she was. It was, and like I didn't even ask her to stay. She just stepped off and was just like, "What's next?" So it was that like won me over. I love her. I voted for her in the last election. I certainly will vote for her again. I'm really looking forward to seeing how that turns out for her. But we also had, like I said, Cameron Terrell came out and performed, and he was cool. And then we just we ripped a little DJ set afterwards. There was maybe like 7 or 8 people in the room just like having a blast. It was fun. Like those nights are really fun for us because like obviously we do a lot of big shows with like Emo Night and like Throwback Night, and like obviously with concerts too. So it's nice to just like have our own little like space sometimes to like just kind of like hang out and like invite people into the bar to have a drink. And I'm sure like Reverb Lounge is open anyway, and like sometimes on like Mondays, like in the dead of winter, there's nobody out, so like they just appreciate people coming in. So like I said, our first one was not great, but like I think that's the challenge we're up against. This next one, like I said, I don't think we're gonna announce it. We're gonna announce it like Monday. So
yeah, let's be out next Friday.
Yeah. So we're gonna have Steve Lyman's brand, Ink Poisoning Apparel. He's gonna come in and do a pop-up event with all of his merchandise that he has. So he's going to come in and everything's going to be for sale. And then we're going to have Keeper of the Morgue in, and then we're going to have, I feel bad. I know the band's name, but I cannot remember them. It's Flakus's side band with
Witherfang.
Yes, Witherfang. Witherfang's going to play too.
Dope.
So it'll be a cool little lineup. It's fucking free. That's like what I've been trying to push to everyone. It's like, yo, I never do free stuff. So please come out.
You literally have nothing to lose.
Yeah, you have nothing to lose besides maybe like
gas
$2 or $3 on beer and gas money. Yeah. Yeah. Dude, I mean, it was funny. It was funny. Yeah, the people that were there had a really great time, and like a couple people left pretty intoxicated. So, it was definitely a good time, and I think I'm really looking forward to what we do in the future. We've got a bunch of different stuff that we're looking at doing, theme nights, shit like that. So come spend the Monday. You should come check it out. Come spend the Monday night with us, man.
Mondays.
Yeah.
I do need to take a Monday off. Usually on Mondays I'm bowling, but it's just like I'm getting so burnt out.
Yeah, dude.
Again, bowling so bad. I just need to just.
Well, the good thing is we program it for like 8 to 11, so it's like it's a little bit later. So like even if. And that's what I don't know. I mean, 8 to 11 on a Monday, like even I'm kind of like, it's got to be pretty cool for me to get out of my house. So we're trying to make it as cool as we possibly can, and hopefully people support it, and hopefully we do it. I'm really looking forward to like I think this is a really good way for me, not only me, but for other people to like digest entertainment in a really, really easy and not such a time-consuming fashion, because I feel like a lot of the times when you go out and you're trying to have fun or just like relax, it's always like, oh man, there's another band playing in there, holy shit, man, I have to go force myself. Like I just want it to be like really like loose and free-flowing, like so nobody feels pressured to like obviously be there. One, like it's a Monday night, like it's free, that's why we make it free, but the other part is like just letting it be like just a nice little like easier way into the week, you know what I mean? So looking forward to it. Hopefully it takes off. If it doesn't, whatever. I've got a bunch more ideas that we can play with.
Plus Keeper of the Morgue, I told him I'm going to plug him so hard.
Yeah. Dude, they're good. Yeah.
So good.
Dude, honestly, I'm not trying to say this to sound pompous, but it really takes a lot for me to get into like newer metal bands from this area, just because I feel like a lot of the times I listen to these bands, and if there's certain members in it, I know exactly how it's going to sound. Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. Having your signature style is great, but like after a while, I'm just like, I need something new, like, and like I don't know anybody. I didn't even know who Matt McClure was until I like looked up their band the other day, and like they're cool. Yeah, they're great. And like one part of being a promoter is doing my part to help support research and help local bands grow in whatever way I can. The bad side of that is there's not a whole bunch of money to be made within the local scene here, just because there's the attendance numbers across the board for local metal shows that I have personally done, for the amount of work that you have to put into them, it's just not worth it, on my end, so I've kind of stepped back from doing a lot of local stuff. And there's a lot of people out there that do it really well. I think Aorta does it really well. I think Aorta Hip Hop does it really well too.
Yeah, I'm excited. Sorry to stop you there. I'm excited for Justin.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we've had I don't know of any other hip hop promoters. Yeah. And it's good that he
not any hip hop promoters that are really like all that great. You know what I mean? Like Justin's like a pretty cool guy. Like I don't personally know him. We've been talking about doing some stuff together, and I hope it happens eventually. I definitely can tell you I respect the shit out of him. He works his ass off, and I know he does a lot. So it's really good to see someone out there in that community doing so well for themselves. Because I feel like not only does the hip hop community need like a good voice like Justin in the community, it's like it's almost like necessary, right? Like he's really pushing stuff to like a whole nother level at the Lookout Lounge. So that's kudos to him. And I think he does stuff outside of Lookout Lounge too. So I guess it's not like just there. They're like all over the Midwest now. So that's fun. That's really awesome. But like I just, some of the local stuff, I can't invest the time into it anymore. Like we do like the Emo Night stuff. We do like Throwback Party. Like those two things are really, really important to our overall strategy.
Take up a lot of time.
Yeah, they take up a shitload of time. They like it's.
And it's no offense to any of the local bands.
No, it's not at all. You know, like I've like honestly, like for good or bad, like I've done a lot for the local community in terms of like metal and hardcore the past like 10 years of my life. You know, like
you kind of just
you know, like in some eyes I might have done a good job, and some eyes I might have done a bad job. You know, it's really all it's all subjective. Yeah, you know, like. I've had some pretty interesting run-ins with some people, and I've had good run-ins with others, and I've had really bad run-ins with others. You know, it's all about perspective, man. Like, look, when I was doing like local shows back when I was like running the Commons and like doing stuff at T.O. Garcia's, like everybody was always like expecting to get paid, and like I just never, that never was a thing for me. I was losing money pretty much on. I would make money like on every third show. You know what I mean? So it was like, how the fuck am I supposed to pay you people? Right. You know, and like people are like, well, you shouldn't have been booking. I was like, okay, well, who's going to do it then? Like, who was going to invest the money into doing, you know, like shit like that, you know, shit like I was doing without getting pissed off and quitting immediately, you know? So like that, you know, like I paid people when I could, you know, like if you sold some tickets, I generally would try to like throw you a couple bucks. Early in my career, I did not understand that dynamic like at all. Like I was just like, oh, we booked a touring band on this, we got to give all the money to them,
right? Which
was stupid. You know, like you have to be able to like support your locals somehow, you know. And I think as I've gotten older, I've gotten better about, you know, doing it. And like nobody wants to like play for exposure, I get that, but like, would you rather have your band open for a local show that's drawing 70 people, or would you rather have your band open for a show that's drawing 400 people, you know? And yeah, dude, I mean, it's like, to me, it was never really a thing. If you wanted to grow your band, you came to me and you asked for shows. And if your band was good, you were getting a show. And like, I think the one thing I can hang my head on is I never forced people to sell tickets. I always pushed them to. I'm like, yo, you should sell some tickets for me. Like, I'm selling tickets too, because like for every show that I did, I was selling tickets too. I was hustling just as hard as those bands were.
Tickets to people's
yeah,
houses.
dude, I was driving all over town when I was a kid. Like, yo, you need a ticket? I'm on the way, dude. I'm texting. Like,
right.
You know, I mean, like all of those like guerrilla tactics that like people still use today. Like I was doing 10 years ago. Way back then. You know, so I think it's a little and I'm not the judge, jury, and executioner here, but like I think it's unfair sometimes when people say that like I didn't give back to like the local community, because I definitely have. You know, it's just it's in different ways. You know, like it's in different forms of. It's a different vehicle of transportation. You know what I mean? Like,
I got you.
If that
and maybe this is where we transition to the whole pay to play thing.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people. Well, even Justin brought this up. He says, "Fuck pay to play promoters."
Sure.
So maybe explain to everybody what pay to play is, and then how I guess that took off, and why people don't necessarily like it now.
Yeah. So I guess dude, I don't know. I mean, like I think there's a bunch of different ways that you could classify pay to play. I think to a point, what I was doing back in the day by making bands sell pre-sales for shows that we had national acts on, it borders it. It's definitely there. I think the difference was I never, one, told people to sell a specific amount. And two, I never once asked for anyone to give me more money than what they sold. That's it.
Because in the long run, it's only going to benefit the bands that are there if they sell them, or if they sell more tickets, more people are going to come. Right. And then I can see where they're coming at from the pay to play thing, because you obviously want to cover the promoter.
Yeah.
Promoter wants to make money, and
of course. I mean, and like, look, dude. I mean, like I said, like there was just not enough money to go around a lot of those times. But I mean, like generally, pay to play is like, hey, here's a stack of tickets. Give me $400. Whatever you sell, you can keep. I never once did that ever. Like ever. I may have pushed people just as hard as I was pushing myself at the time to push tickets, just because I personally felt like I was invested enough in this to be able to say something like that. You know what I mean? So, and that probably came off really, really harsh. You know, it's like, hey, I'm busting my ass out here. Can you match my intensity and match like my enthusiasm about that? Because that's what I was stoked on back in the day, was promoting shows, and like, and if you weren't with me on that, like I wouldn't book your band, like period. So like I probably gave some people some opportunities that I shouldn't have, and I mean probably didn't give some people that deserved an opportunity. I probably withheld it, but I think that's kind of what you realize as you get older. And
you live and you learn.
Yeah, you can remedy that. But yeah, I mean, like the pay to play thing in Omaha has never really been. I mean, there's been like, I remember I listened to the podcast with Ethan and with Jake the other day, and I remember that situation for the Shai Hulud show. I was out of town that night. I really wanted to go to that show because Shai Hulud, I don't know if you know anything about that band, but they are like one of the best, oldest hardcore bands.
I seen somebody wearing a Shai Hulud shirt.
They are. It's probably Nate. I think Nate Chavez has one of those shirts, but they are literally like one of my favorite old hardcore bands. They've been around since like '96. Like, there's no way, one, they should have been playing with any of those bands that they were on tour with, and two, there's no way they should have been playing Sokol Underground. So it was just really weird. It was really peculiar. It was really interesting show. I wasn't even there. I didn't even know it. I just got a bunch of texts. They're like, yo, what do we do? I'm like, I don't know. It's not my fucking show. What are you texting me for? Flakus like called me. It was like so fucking funny. But like, yeah, I mean, there's.
I heard it was like an out of town promoter. Somebody from Des Moines who bought a show in Omaha.
I think in different areas of the country, I think like, you know, pay to play is definitely more prevalent than it is in other places. Like, for whatever reason, Des Moines has been a hotbed of promoters that have literally always been like, all right, here's a stack of tickets, give me X amount of dollars, you know. And while I've never really messed with that, it's not for me to judge what other promoters are doing, honestly. Fair. If I'm being square, like, can I say that that's a really shitty way to do business? Absolutely. But if you're stupid enough to fuck with those promoters, that's your own stupid fault, you know. Like, that might, I don't know. I mean, it's there's a bunch of different ways you could look at it, dude. But overall, it's terrible. It's bad. You know, you can't. There's no good way to spin it. You know, and generally when I give out tickets these days, I say I have the same guidelines. You don't gotta sell these. I'm giving them to you. If you want to push them, I'll give people a cut now because I can afford it, because a lot of the stuff that I'm doing isn't tanking like it was back in the day. So, you know, stuff that's playing like the waiting room, I can afford to throw a local on there, and it's usually selling like enough tickets I can pay out. You know, and some of those shows that we do up at Lookout Lounge aren't really designed to support locals, which is a weird way to look at things.
Example.
I don't know if I want to throw any examples out there because I don't want to get in any trouble with agents on talking about that stuff. But like, I think you can just kind of tell the shows that are underattended, and you know, when you go to a show, you can just tell. It's like, yeah, this promoter's gonna lose some bucks. Like and unfortunately, that's kind of what that's kind of what our scene needs right now, is just like trial and error. Like, what bands can we bring in that can sell tickets, and what bands do we know that we should stay away from now that aren't helping our scene, you know? And like, Omaha is a scene that's really driven by local bands when touring bands come into town. If you don't have a huge following in town, you're really relying on a strong local lineup to help sell that show. And if you're a band that's not doing well in this area and you still have a good local lineup on there and it does poorly, that's when you know you've made a bad decision. And, you know, I mean, I think that's kind of the line of thinking I've been across the last like years, like really, really narrowing down what people want to see in this market, but not being so one-dimensional that we're just booking like metal or
I was gonna say, does this almost drive oversaturation of the market with some bands because they're being asked to play so frequently because they know they can draw. Well,
that too, and the fact that there's nobody playing music, there's just no options. So it's hard for me to be like, yeah, you know, we're gonna put band XYZ on here, and I've got a show in like 2 weeks. You know, like, how do I split up? You know, I have another show in 2 weeks that I could put those same bands on the lineups. Like, how do I figure out? Like, I've started turning to like the regional bands and stuff like that. You know, and like that's something that I wasn't really able to do in the past. I could pay people now, right? Like, the shows that we're doing are grossing more money, so I can throw a couple bucks at like that band that played the other night. Primitive Rage from Springfield. I tossed them like a couple bucks. They came like 7 hours and played. You know, like, that's the type of shit like the metal and hardcore scene need here right now, is like regional unity and more people locally playing music. Like, those are the two things, you know, if that makes sense.
Definitely.
It's yeah, I mean, like, back when me and Jesse were kids, it was really common for bands from like our region to come into town all the fucking time. And as I've gotten older, it's been like, okay, there's not a single regional band on this lineup. it's just Omaha locals that I've seen 60
Right.
times. You know?
It's like you used to know, like, these guys came from Des Moines, these guys came from Denver, these guys came from Sioux Falls.
But and the cool thing about that is, like, you learn those people's names. You learn, like, you're friends with them on Facebook or MySpace back in, like, in our day. And, like, you see them grow up, you know, you see them switch bands and, like, oh my God, hey, they're in another band now, you know, like, that's how you make connections, and that's how, like, the music scene grows across the region, period, you know, like, by reaching out to other people in different cities, diversifying what we have here in Omaha, diversifying what they have there, you know, like, that's always been the formula, and somewhere along the way, like, people just kind of forgot, you know. You know, the other part of that is people actually picking up a fucking instrument and playing here in town. No offense, I mean, I can't really say shit. I don't play any instruments. So
my brother wants to start a pop punk band. To be honest, I don't like pop punk.
Oh man, I love pop punk.
Me either.
Thank you.
I've been a pop punk kid. I mean, that was like my. I mean, I grew up listening to like emo music, you know, and like inherently like mid 2000s like emo music was very pop punk. It was very pop punk. You know, like even like the heavy music, like in that era, had like elements of pop punk, like A Day to Remember, like stuff like that.
See,
like it was all pop punk.
You can hate me if you want. I think A Day to Remember is overrated.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, we've been going to their shows since we were fucking 14 years old, so we've seen that band grow up. Like I've said a couple times in this interview or podcast, sorry, not interview. You grow up and your tastes change. Like,
definitely.
I remember seeing. I think we both probably remember seeing that band in front of like 40 to 50 people at Sokol Underground, A Day to Remember.
Oh,
and you know, I mean,
there was a show that we saw them with under like 20 people there.
Yeah,
damn.
I mean, it's fun to watch bands grow up like that, but that doesn't mean that you have to stay with them. You know, like, and I respect the shit out of those guys.
Kind of like you let them.
Yeah,
take off.
Grow up, yeah, dude. I mean, like, look, their music is not something that I enjoy anymore. Like, I think their new record.
To see them at Stir Cove, and it was
I mean, look, I
shocking.
think there's certain things that bands that have had the longevity, like A Day to Remember, can do, like having like a really entertaining live show. They can really add to their career, and I think they've done a really good job of doing that. And it's been fun to watch them grow up, but that doesn't mean I have to.
Like same with Bring Me the Horizon, like.
Dude, I have to say, I really enjoy their new album.
Do you?
Yeah, hell yeah, it's great. It's so innovative, dude. And like nobody is doing what they're doing on that level. Period. Like nobody. Like have you seen any of their videos of their live show? It's crazy. It is nuts. Like that's what I wish like metal would be all over the world. You know,
just
like
that big.
Yeah, like it's so much. Like they invested so much into the production of their show. They have like backup dancers. Like it is fucking cool.
Okay, they're not baby metal. Let's
Dude. Honestly, like it sounds cheesy, dude, but like when you really, I don't know. I guess being like behind the scenes for like a couple years and like watching like production happen like in front of my eyes, like on a big scale, like they're doing a really good job. Like they're putting on a really entertaining show and still catering to like their audience that has been there for more than 10 years while kind of dipping their foot into like this whole new genre.
Yeah, it's like
music.
pop.
It's like
what would you
it's like
consider
EDM
now?
pop metal.
Yeah,
like I don't even know how to explain it, but I love it.
Well, imagine explaining baby metal to people. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a Japanese J-pop band who plays a little bit of metal / hardcore.
Yeah, I mean,
And they're backup dancers.
Yeah.
And there's 3 girls.
Yeah, super funny. Like, I guess not funny. It's just artistic. It's really cool.
How big of reach that band has.
Yeah,
The guys from Malta knew who baby metal was.
Yeah, I think if you're in the metal, I mean, like, if you've ever played a festival before, like in Asia, like I think they play like all of them. You know,
Yeah.
So, and I mean, like in general, they're huge anyway. So like their brand recognition is just like crazy. Like baby metal, and people are like, what? Yeah, I saw that on YouTube.
Yeah, I know baby metal.
Yeah.
Well, think about when they started. They were like 13, 14.
Yeah.
13, 14, they had a giant band in Japan, and now look at how they've grown. Like they've been in the scene for 7, 8, 9 years. I don't know how old they are now, but everybody knows baby metal. And if you don't recognize, baby.
Yeah, for real. I mean, I guess that type of music really isn't all that super popular here in the States, but
No.
It will be.
it is now, just on like a relative level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, Forrest and I talked about this with Inner Shikari. Like, Inner Shikari,
Don't even with Enter Shikari with me, man.
they kill in the UK.
They're terrible here. I booked them.
Yeah, they don't. Why?
Were you at that show that I booked a couple years back at Sokol
So
Underground?
we talked about this.
Yeah.
So-
it was one of the worst shows I've ever booked.
But think of this. At West Fair, they had Atreyu.
Oh, yeah,
and then Parkway Drive, and then
Beartooth was down the street.
and Straight from the Path.
Well, it's funny because Straight from the Path are like some of my
Oh,
like Tom. Friends. Yeah. I've known them for when they the first Omaha show they ever played, they stayed at my dorm room. I thought it was super funny. We all got to know him really well. Tom's a good friend. I still talk to him from time to time. They haven't played Omaha in forever. They've been touring the States quite a bit this last year. Anyway,
and they got a new drummer.
Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really nice. But yeah, what were we talking? Oh yeah, they had that show. Yeah, that show down there. So yeah, there's 3 shows that night. I think I lost. That's the only figure I'll throw out on this podcast. I think I lost like $1,700 that night. It was bad. It was really bad. I mean, like when you split up an audience that's already like super hard to get to, and you split it up 3 ways, it's just like a suicide mission, dude. Like I was the first show to have announced that during that time period. During that time period, I was the first show that was on sale, and I still lost that much money. Damn. So, I mean, other than that, I just don't think that brand of music is just super. It's not super popular. Like not only in Omaha, but it's just when we were kids, I had like that one song.
Okay, Time for Baby.
Yeah, I had that on like. Me and CJ would ride like sophomore and junior year of high school. That was like our song that we played like almost every other day in the car on the way to school. So like I think it was cool for a moment, and then like I just don't think they're meant to headline here. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like they definitely could support and like really like rile people up on like a good headliner.
But they'll play Leeds and they'll play Reading, and
it's crazy. There's like 40,000 people or something.
There.
Yeah.
But in a small market like Omaha, granted Omaha's not like crazy small, but
yeah,
compared to the whole world, Omaha's
it's relatively small. It's super small. Yeah, it's super small. And I think what I've had to kind of realize is like Omaha is like a really small place, and you have to temper your expectations because I mean like look, I was kind of having this conversation with my coworkers today. Is like, look what you guys are doing in LA and like San Francisco and like Dallas and like not Tallahassee, like Orlando, you know,
way bigger cities.
It's way different. Like we have to, like the marketing is different. Like the attendance is different. The people are different. The age groups are different. Like
give us Corey Taylor. No, I'm just
yeah.
Give somebody local.
Yeah, dude.
If you give us Maddie Montgomery.
Yeah.
For an emo night.
Yeah.
People are going to go cry.
Maddie Montgomery for
today.
Ugh.
You don't like him?
Fuck no.
Really?
Fuck Maddie. Yeah, straight up. I gotta say it on the podcast. I hate that guy. He's a bitch.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
All right, we're gonna end it now.
Yeah, no, dude. Honestly, he's too abrasive.
Gotcha.
Religiously, like he always was. I've heard him say some weird things, and I'm not afraid to say that. He was just. I think he was a little like out of place in some of the tours that they curated themselves.
Fair enough.
I don't know. He was a weird dude. It's funny because I liked the other dudes in For Today.
David Puckett, the drummer.
Yeah, David was cool. I
don't
know him as David Morrison because I used to book shows back in the day, and that's what he would go by.
David Morrison.
Yeah.
Do you know he plays for We Came as Romans now?
Oh, so that must have been their first drummer was David Morrison, then he quit. And
gotcha.
David Puckett must have been.
Gotcha.
But Ryan and Matt the brothers used to come down to my shows all the time at Sokol Underground because they're good friends with the dudes that are straight from the past. So I would see them all the time. They were great people. I just thought Matty was a dick.
Gotcha.
He was really abrasive religiously, and it was not fun. So, but you know, yeah. I mean, like we're looking at bringing in some crazy people for the next year of Emo Night. And like,
what do they rhyme with?
This next one in December.
When is it? December what?
20th.
December 20th.
We're bringing somebody from Mayday Parade, so that should be fun.
Rhymes with Crease Moss.
Christmas.
Rhymes with Christmas.
But like I don't know, like I mean, you can kind of look at like the Emo Nights across the country and just kind of like see who's who's doing appearances. Like Aaron Gillespie's doing appearances like everywhere. Like, we've had people from like Sleeping with Sirens do appearances. I think.
Do people know anybody besides Kellen and the redhead dude?
Dude, I'm gonna be straight up with you. I think Kellen is that band, so I don't think anybody else in that band matters. Right. I mean, relatively.
Same with what's the other one? There's Sleeping with Sirens, and then what's the other fucking band?
Kellen has been a figurehead since I was in college, like a freshman in college.
Oh, no doubt.
You know, like he could kick everybody out of that band. I don't think anybody would care. Just as long as he was still in it, like I think it would be fine.
No,
but you know, whatever. You know, I mean, I really want to get into doing some like more stuff that was niche to like our specific region, like back in the day, like. like I've always had conversations with like this band called The Audition. They're from Chicago. They were like a Victory Records emo band back in the day, and like they were huge in this area. So like that's the type of stuff that I'd like to get into doing, is like bringing out some like true nostalgic like Lincoln, Omaha regional stuff. Like Straight Outta Junior High would be really cool to see again. Like JV All Stars would be really fun to see again. Like there's a bunch of different things that we could do, you know, in town. It's just a matter of like if people want to do it, you know. Like I throw in a bunch of different ideas out at a bajillion different people. It's just like it's throwing the ideas out and seeing what sticks and what comes back.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And like I guess that's kind of how it's always been, you know.
So you got December 20th, Emo Night.
Yeah.
And
then
anything else planned?
Gosh. Well, I guess this next week we have Mayday Parade. We're opening for Mayday Parade. Emo Night is at the Waiting Room on Tuesday. And then we're in Kansas City and Des Moines Friday, Saturday next week. And then we're off for 2 weeks. Me and Bree and Tommy are going to LA for the party, for the 5-year anniversary party of Emo Night, which we're really excited about. Yeah, I'm really excited. They've got some cool stuff planned. Yeah, it'd be a nice time to celebrate with the team, and kind of like there's a lot of people that are coming in from across the country that I've never met before, so I'm really excited about being out there. And then we come back and we go straight to St. Louis. Next weekend after that, we're in Omaha, and then it's Christmas. I can breathe for a minute, and then we have like all of January off, so that'd be nice.
So do this. Shout out a couple of your LA people.
Okay.
So some people that maybe we should know about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like the entire Emo Night Rider Cry collective. Definitely check them out. LA people. Michael Barr, my friend out there that I manage. He's a hip hop artist. He used to play in Volumes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always hang out with him when I'm in LA. He comes to town quite a bit and hangs out with us. So check out his music. Who else out there? My boy Shakewell is killing it. I haven't talked to him in a while, but
I swear, if you don't tag all these people,
no, I will. I'll give you all the stuff. Yeah, dude, there's a bunch of people out there in LA that are killing it too. Those are just a few though.
All right, and then what is on your Christmas list? Give me 3 things you want for Christmas.
3 things? Ooh, shit. Well, I need new tires. I had a tire pop today, so I'm gonna ask my parents to give me a new pair of tires.
Okay.
I really want a new pair of AirPods, so I'm gonna ask for that. And then
what's Santa gonna get you?
Dude, honestly, I really hope he brings me like a fat amount of like Southwest gift cards, because I really, really, really want to travel this.
That is such a mature thing to ask for.
Dude, I am like no, I don't like. I just want to like in my off time, I just get so bored here at home that I just want to like travel like on my own and not have to work. So that's my goal for 2020, is to travel more, and I'm hoping that Santa brings me something like that. It'd be great.
Come on, Santa.
Please, Santa. Mom and Dad, please.
With that being said, be sure to check out everything that Austin has going on. Like I said, Emo Night, Third String.
Yeah, Third String Midwest.
Third String Midwest. And be on the lookout, December 20th, Emo Night. See ya.